Hello, this is Ifyaji for Ankara again, and thank you for taking the time to be a part of our discussion today. So, something had been sitting on my mind, and I wanted us to have a dialogue about it and let me know about what your partake is on this matter in the comment section. If you have not subscribed yet, please go ahead and subscribe. If you've already subscribed, thank you for being a part of our community. So I was reading Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, and on that subject line, it said that God said, "Come, let us create man in our own image." And I took that scripture, I kind of dissected it a bit because I wanted to understand who God was talking to. Because in my minuscule part of the mind, when you invite someone to say, "Come, let us," then I'm assuming that there were other equal supreme beings around that God called upon for them to create man in their own image. Because if it was just God and there were no other God around him, he wouldn't invite them and even believe as though they were capable of creating another being in their image. So I thought about that for a second. Because if we bring it to our own level, you rub shoulders with people that you share the same caliber with, people that you're comfortable with, people that you believe they are on the same level that you are. And we're not doing this to degrade people, but we rub shoulders with people that we see as peers, that we have the same values, we have the same propositions, we have the same standard. Those are the people sometimes we call our friends or our camaraderies. So why would God call on other gods and tell them, "Let us create human being in our own image," if he did not believe that there were other gods that were capable of creating human beings? That baffled me a little bit. Don't be bashful. Just think about it and let me know about your thoughts. So then I was thinking even further, and I looked at the different type of religion that we have in our world. We have the Hindu religion, we have the Buddha, we have Muslim, we have Christianity, and it goes on and on and on and on. And when you take the population that actually worship Buddha, you will find this particular group of people around China area, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, Taiwan, and you see how all these countries are Asian countries. And they've identified with a particular entity that they worship, Buddha, that we've seen the pictogram of Buddha. We all have seen it. Therefore, that is the God that looks like them, and therefore they worship that God. It makes sense to me. Then we take a country that is predominantly Muslim religion, and you look at the Maldivic country, the Afghanistan, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Turkey, Qatar, they are all Muslim religion type of countries. And when you see the expression of Muhammad, they look just like the type of people that worship him. So again, come, let us create man in our own image. It's making sense to me. Then we take a religion like Hinduism, and if you've seen the pictogram of Hindu and the god they worship, the most predominant country that is they practice Hindu is India. And again, that entity represent Indians. It makes sense, right? All right. And then when you take Christianity, the people that you can find a lot of Christians among them is the country of United States. You have over 212 million people in the country of US that are Christians. Brazil, Russia, the Vaticans are also predominantly consider themselves Christians. Therefore, when you look at the photo of the entity that Christians worship, they look like the same people. We kind of bringing this discussion home. Again, don't be bashful. Just think about it and start to process the scripture. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, and start thinking. So then when it comes to Africans, I'm trying to find a pictogram of an entity that Africans worship. Because when you think about it, Africans don't really have a particular entity that you can say, when you see this pictogram, that is a representation of Africans. Just like when you see Buddha, you can say, oh, that's Buddhism. When you see a Hindu picture, you can say, oh, that's Hinduism. When you see Muhammad, you can relate. When it comes to Africans, how does the God of Africa look like? Because if God is inviting other gods to create human beings in their own image, and looking at the differential countries and differential religions that we've already looked at, and the type of people that worship these entities in their own way, I'm just trying to understand what is missing here. Have Africans lost their God? Is that why the struggling is so deep? Because we are not really, or have not connected to the God to get the help that we need, to get the healing that we need, to get the aid that we need? What is the missing piece here? The God that Africans do call upon to help them, does the God even know this particular group of people? Because you can't take someone's daddy to be your dad. They will help you, but they can only go so far. So the question is, do we have an entity that is a representation of Africans that Africans can call upon, just like all these religions have their own set of God that they've identified with? And to me, it seems as though that God relates to them more because he sees himself or herself or itself in its own kind. Therefore, these entities are quick to listen to the need of its people. Would Africans struggle, dismay, disappointment, help come more readily available if they find their own God and call upon? And how does that God look like? This is just a question. What do you think? This is Ifeanyi for Ankara. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for leaving your comment. Thank you for being a part of this channel. See you next time. Bye-bye.